Hey, good evening, enlightened women. Good evening, good evening, good evening. If it is Monday, and indeed it is Monday, it's Easter Monday, Resurrection Sunday Monday. It's Monday. It's Monday, April the 18th, 2022. Woo! We made it, y'all. Another day. Made it through another week, and we are now in the start of a brand new week. How y'all doing? How are you? How you feeling? I like that I'm realizing that sometimes it's important not to just say how you doing, but to ask one another, how are you feeling? Because when you say how are you feeling, it makes us have to think and tap into where we are, what's in our heart space, what's in our mind, what's in our spirit, and to be able to describe how we're actually feeling. So I want to ask you, enlightened women, as you come on into the meditation room for Mondays in the meditation room with Dr. K for Midlife Musings, how are you feeling? What's going on? And can I tell you, I found reading about communication that sometimes we have a hard time communicating because we don't have not just the skills or the tools, but sometimes we don't even have the vocabulary, and that we don't often stop to think about what we're feeling and then put words to it so we can know who we are in any given moment. So, how you doing? Even if you watch in the replay, put it in the chat. How you feeling? How you doing? Take a moment to tap into your own heart space and head space, because that's a practice of self-care. It's stopping, right, to acknowledge where you are. It's kind of like when I'm doing yoga, we do a flow, right? And then we do a pose and we hold it for a minute. Then the yoga instructor sometimes say, just stop. How are you feeling after that moment of flow, or after coming out of a particular pose, especially if it was challenging? You learn to tap into how you are feeling. Literally pay attention to and be mindful of how you're feeling. Because if you don't identify where you are, how do you know where you are so that you can determine what you need to do, or if you need to do nothing and just sit with it? That's what we're going to talk about on tonight, because we've been talking this month about permission granted, giving yourself permission, right? Because the truth of the matter is, sometimes it's not always other people that holds us back. Sometimes it's us. Sometimes we are holding ourselves back, right? And so this month, this April month, as we move even more fully into the spring season, we wanted to say, look around. Is it other people? Is it situations? Is it circumstances? Or is it our own mindset? Are we the ones out of fear, right? Uh, Holding ourselves back and not giving ourselves permission to live full on. So we started out with permission granted, permission to embrace fully this spring season. In other words, allowing yourself to come out of the dormancy, rest, quiet place of winter season into the spring season, where it's signified by new beginnings, fresh start, a rebirth, and embracing the fullness of a spring season coming alive, throwing off heaviness, right? Just like we are so excited that we don't have to wear our heavy coats anymore, or our boots, or our hats and our gloves. And the truth of the matter is, the closer it got to spring, the harder it was for us to even wear that. We didn't want to. Our bodies, our senses, our mind, our spirit knew that it was time for spring. So it's like crazy, right? To have 60 or 70-degree weather and coming out with a full on winter coat, hat, and gloves, right? Because it's time to go into the next season. So, as a woman in midlife, we have to learn how to flow with the seasons, the ebbs and flows of our life. And one of the things we have to give ourselves permission to do is fully embrace this season of rebirth, redefining, reimagining our lives, right? Because as enlightened women, Mondays in the meditation room, right? We are saying we are not giving in to the usual trope about midlife, that it's chaotic, that it's fearful. Nope, we are redefining it. It is a reimagining. It literally is a rebirth. It is a redesigning of who we are and learning how to master this season. Not looking for perfection, but giving ourselves permission to be authentic, right? Love it. Then we talked about giving ourselves permission to step into our power. We just use all of the wonderful energy and excitement and inspiration of watching Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson, just manage the craziness that was that confirmation hearing, man. And she just gathered herself and did what she had to do. And she is now Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson. But we were talking about seeing her as a reflection of us, as Black women in midlife, that we are valuable, we are important, we have a lot of power, we are creative. Yeah, and we're strong. And I'm not talking about that strong where you by yourself and think you need to carry the weight of the world. I'm just talking about you have the ability to press through what you need to press through to get to where you need to go. That there is power within you when you embrace your authentic self, when you acknowledge your gifts, acknowledge what you bring to the table, what you bring to your family, your community, and even the world. Step into that power. This is not the time to what dull your shine or hide your shine or be so concerned about keeping other people comfortable that you are constantly uncomfortable and dying on the inside. It's time out for that. And so we talked last week about giving yourself permission to step into your power. That really just means to level up into another place of confidence because you know who you are and you know what you bring to the world and to the table. Go ahead and step. That doesn't mean you loud or if you loud, that's fine, right? Because people always trying to tell us as Black women, we too much, we too angry, we too this, we always too much for everybody. If we too much for you, then you the wrong tribe for us to be in, right? But we're saying whether you are extrovert, whether you're introvert, whether you are both, whatever you are, or you defy labels, whatever you are, step into that meaning. When you step into a room, know that you belong there. When you step into a space, know that you don't have to compete or compare yourself with anyone else, that your peace, your smile, right, your level of knowing who you are is your power, is your strength, is to be who you authentically are and knowing that you don't have to put anybody else down to rise. Matter of fact, as women, what we lift as we climb because we each shine. I love to say, you shine, I shine, we shine, right? So step into your power and encourage other sisters as you do so. And tonight, very briefly, it's been a very, very busy week. And I just thought momentarily about not jumping on for Mondays in the meditation room, but I just wanted to jump on just for a few minutes to go to the very next one, which is permission granted surrender. Mm. Put it in the chat if you're watching the replay or whenever you get it. Just think about it. Give yourself permission to surrender. And I'm not talking about that surrender where you feel defeated, right? That you feel like you've lost or you've lost something, right? No, I'm talking about surrendering to the moment or the season you might find yourself in in life, like surrendering to, for women in midlife, we have so many physical changes happening in our bodies, mental and emotional changes, and it can be frightening, it can be frustrating, it can even be what make you angry and mad. Because I can tell you, I'm always talking to the spirit, like, how much longer on these hot flashes, Lord? How much longer? Right? But it is the season that I'm in my body. Nobody has any scientific reason why women in midlife begin to have hot flashes, right? And there's a whole lot of things that they say we can take to minimize it or whatever. And when you think you passed it, just when you think you passed it, it comes back. And then there are some women who don't even experience it all, whatever it is, the weight gain, the brain fog, um, just the frustration, the heart palpitation, all those things that happen to us physically as we the whole landscape of our bodies begin to change as women in midlife, right? I'm talking about giving yourself permission to surrender to that, because the transformation in midlife in your physical body is going to happen. We cannot stop it. So we need to surrender to it in the sense that we align ourselves with what is happening and learn how and learn what our body needs. So maybe we need to pay attention what brings on longer hot flashes or more frequent hot flashes. It might be something you're eating. You might have to change your diet. You might have to drink more water. You may have to exercise. That helps me, but I don't know what helps you. You have to find out works for you. Surrender to it, right? We may have been used to burning the candle at both ends, but our body is saying you can't do that anymore. Just surrender to the fact that you might need more sleep. You might need to jump into the nap club, right? You might have to start having a nap or having a time where you power down, shut your phone, and you don't even receive texts or notifications or anything until it's time for you to wake up in the morning. So you might have to surrender to the fact that your body needs more rest. You may need to surrender to the fact that um, you need to give yourself some time to regroup mentally and emotionally. Maybe you need to look for a therapist so you can talk some things through. Maybe your spouse, your significant other, your sister friends, right? Whoever you're used to being able to talk to them, you might be in a season where that may not be working for you. You may need to talk through some things with a professional, with somebody else. Just surrender to that. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. We have to remove the stigma of finding some talk therapy. That's what they're calling it now, right? Talk therapy. And most of the times they're just there to be a sounding board to help guide you through a series of inquisitive questions for yourself. And you then, most of the time, end up talking yourself through to your own freedom, right? So surrender to that. Maybe you need some support. Maybe you do have some friends that you can talk to, but you haven't wanted to because you've been embarrassed or you're concerned about what they may think of you. If you have some good girlfriends, they're not going to be judging you, right? They're not going to judge you about what you're going through. You might be fearful about your future, your financial future, what's going to happen with your children, your grandchildren. You may be dealing with parents that you have to care for, right? Or you might be ready for career change and don't know which way to go. And sometimes for women, when they want more, there's a crazy voice in the back of our head that says you're not worthy of that or you don't deserve that. Nope. We actually need to talk through that because you very well need to know that it's time to prioritize yourself, right? So go ahead and surrender to that feeling and learn how to articulate your feelings with the people around you so that they can adjust. Everybody's not going to be happy. Come on, Enlightened Woman Tribe. We've talked about that before. Everybody's not going to be happy, right, when you prioritize yourself because you're making it uncomfortable for them. They're used to you coming to their rescue. They're used to you fixing it, right? They're used to you coming in, right, with the cape blowing in the wind as a superhero and saving everybody and fixing everybody. That could be whether it's your sibling, your parents, your co-workers, your whoever. find a way to surrender to the fact that you're in a season that is not who you want to be in that moment. You need to guard your peace, right? Surrender to what your changing needs might be and be okay. Surrender to the need you have for self compassion and patience for yourself. I'm sure that you absolutely deserve it. You might need to surrender to releasing some pain, releasing some bad, toxic emotions and thoughts and feelings, right? Just go ahead and surrender to the fact that you need to release them. You're going to be okay. And that's the hardest thing for us, the unknown. Who will I be? Who will be there for me? Who will be a part of my life if I literally surrender to this change and transformation and evolving that's happening for me? Who will be there for me? Beloved, I just want to say to you, if you decide to allow yourself to transform, to evolve, and grow into that best version of yourself, believe me, there will be a sister, there will be a friend, there will be somebody that God will order your steps to, that will be there for you. Matter of fact, surrender to new experiences and meeting new people. I was just having a conversation about how small I thought my world had become, that I had not met anybody new in such a long time. Lo and behold, stayed at a bed and breakfast, met a couple brand new, had met them before, life completely different than ours. They're from California, living their best lives, and we had the best time and best talk meeting new people. So go ahead and surrender to your need for expanding your horizons, right? Go ahead and do that. Surrender to stillness. Mm, hmm. Yeah. Surrender to stillness. The things that you need now in this season in your life, you may not have needed them before. And the things you don't need, you didn't need before, you may need now. Go ahead, surrender to that, because it is really challenging to have inner turmoil going on when you resist whatever is happening, even if it's something that's very challenging and painful. That doesn't mean it's okay with you. You may be dealing with someone with an illness, or you may have to, leave your place of employment. You may have to move. You may have to downsize. You may, whatever it is, it may be uncomfortable. Just surrender to it, and that just means that you're not so busy trying to fight back. You're not so busy trying to resist it, because sometimes that's what creates so much stress, even when we're going through difficult situation. Acknowledge it for what it is, and find out by going within what's the best way for me to process this particular situation or circumstance, so that it doesn't take me under or take me out. Hmm. That's it for tonight, y'all. I just wanted to jump on. I'm getting ready. I'm all geared up in my workout gear because I just had to flow today, get some things done. I just wanted to jump in our space, our sacred space of the meditation room for Midlife Musings. Yeah, just conversations for us to talk about as Black women in midlife, right? But I got my sneakers over there ready to go get my walk in. I needed to just release and continue to prioritize my self-care. But guess what? Sometimes I have days where I just can't do it. So I surrender to that and allow it to be a rest day and keep it moving. And so can you. Give yourself permission to breathe in, breathe out, and just surrender to keep your peace. Love y'all. Absolutely love y'all. Put it in the chat, especially if you're doing the replay. And so, since I didn't get to interact with you on today, tell me what you think. What are you surrendering? What do you just need to surrender to in this moment? And I look forward to our next time that we gather, either next Monday or sometime during the week. And as we continue to allow ourselves to grow and evolve in this most significant and sacred season of our life in midlife, right? Talk to y'all soon. Love you.